Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Saturday to everybody. This is a video I have been waiting. I have been waiting over a month to make this video. And today is the day it's going to happen. I've just been sitting back and gathering intelligence and watching all these other fan bases make a fool out of themselves. And today, it came all to a head. And the person we have to thank for this video, and for me finally coming out and speaking about this at length and letting you know how I really feel about it and exposing some of these other fans from other teams out there. We can all thank a gentleman named Brad Crawford. Now look, Brad Crawford, do you know who he is? Of course you don't. Nobody knows who this guy is because he's a nobody writer that nobody knows about, and he's trying to make a name for himself. So what does he do? He does the same thing a lot of reporters that are trying to have a come up and get their name out there do. So he writes a clickbait headline of an article about this investigation into Clemson's suspended PED players during the playoffs, Dexter Lawrence and a couple of other non-starters, right? So this guy writes an article, and the headline to this guy's article is that Dabo Swinney admits, this is what he says, admits that they may have unknowingly given their players PEDs. That's what this guy says in this article, the headline of the article. Now, the first thing you'll notice about the headline of this article is that he did not put Dabo Swinney's comments and quotations that they may have unknowingly given their players PEDs is because the reason he did not put them in quotation marks is because he was not quoting him. Because if you read the article, instead of just reading the headline, Dabo Swinney says nothing even close to that. Not even close. Read the article yourself. Don't take my word for it. Are you one of these people that just reads headlines and that's how you get your news? Well, I asked that, but I already know that some of you are. Based on the comments that I'm seeing you put all over Facebook and Twitter, you know who you are, all of you. And so now I'm here to expose not only Brad Crawford for being a lying, fake news, bad reporter that nobody cares about. This guy, I mean, nobody cares about this guy so much that this is the reason that they make headlines about this, even though it has nothing to do with the facts in the article or what anybody said in the article, you know, quoting them. It's because this guy, he wants to be a big-time reporter. He wants to work for somebody important. So he can go into his bosses or go into a job interview and say, hey, I'm that guy. I'm that guy that wrote that article that got 2 million hits on Twitter. That's me. I'm Brad Crawford. That's me. But the fact is, you lied, sir. He didn't say that. Read the article. All Dabo Swinney said in that article is the same thing that he's been saying since this whole controversy started. And what he's been saying is, we don't know where it came from. It could have come from anywhere, from what I'm being told. Now, if that's admitting to giving your players PEDs, sir, slap yourself if you think that. Or anybody reads that article and reads what Dabo actually said, if you think that has him admitting anything, then slap yourself. Clickbait, fake news. What it is. Now, aside from this loser, Brad Crawford, listen, I'd love to have this guy call into the Pigskin Pete show or any kind of recorded live, whatever. I'd make mincemeat out of this peon. Guy calls himself a journalist. What a joke. But aside from him, this loser, we got a couple of fan bases in particular that I want to talk about today. And these have been the two fan bases, at least on my social media feeds, that have been the most rabid about this whole thing. Number one, the Gumps. Of course. I mean, but listen, do you expect anything else from the Gumps? I mean, I actually did expect something different from the Gumps. I did. And I'm a fool for that. But the sad, sad truth is we've seen Alabama go from a dynasty to a bunch of sniveling, whiny little excuse makers all over the internet. They have been scrambling and scratching and clawing for a reason to justify that ass whooping they got in front of the whole world on January 7th, 2019. It's killing these guys. There's no way Clemson's that much better than us. It must be the PEDs. It's a bad look. Steroids. Steroids. Now, look. Let's calm down here for a second. Let's look at reality, Alabama, and let's talk about facts. Let's talk about the fact that the 3 guys that did test positive for a banned substance didn't play in the playoffs. So they weren't playing in that game. That's number one. Number two, did anybody forget? Did anybody forget that Alabama had 3 players suspended for the playoffs also? Didn't they? Now, what were they suspended for? I forgot. Can somebody remind me what those guys were suspended for? One of them was your all-star or all-American offensive lineman, a starter. One of the best players on the offense. Probably the best offensive lineman you had. Suspended. But why was that? Remind me. Oh, that's right. Nick Saban and Alabama decided not to let anybody know. They're going to keep that a secret from everybody. Now, you want to talk about what's not a good look? I'll tell you what a good look is. A good look is being transparent. Before the playoffs happen, Dabo comes out and says, I believe in being transparent if you have nothing to hide. This is what happened. This is why they're suspended. And this is what we're doing about it. Nick Saban, same day. Oh, yeah, we got 3 players suspended. Why? No comment. I wonder why they're keeping this a secret from everybody. No, that's not a good look, is it? So I'm not saying these guys were suspended for PEDs. Hell, it may be something worse than that for all we know. These guys trying to come up with excuses for why they lost and got embarrassed by everybody. Talking about it's a bad look for Clemson with the steroids. Meanwhile, they're keeping secrets from everybody. Now, I'm not a smart man, but I know what a secret is. Next on the list, and I was surprised at this one. Now, this isn't just the fan base of this team, but also some video makers out there too. Now, listen, I get it. I get all the jokes. Oh, the Clemson, this is what they're calling them now. The Clemson cheaters. It's like them calling the Patriots the Cheatriots. Even though, the Patriots actually got caught cheating and were convicted of it, several times. And actually, everybody knows it's a fact that they've cheated. But anyway, so what they do is it started out with, oh, Clemson cheated, Clemson cheated. Oh, hell, I even made a lot of Osterine jokes. I thought it was funny, But then I'm like, okay, this is going a little bit too far now, because you keep calling them the Clemson cheaters. You keep saying that Clemson cheated their way to a national title, right? Georgia fans, that's right, you know who you are. I'm not going to call you out by your name, but you all know who you are. Clemson cheated. Clemson cheated. Clemson cheated their way to a national title. And I go, okay, all right, very funny. Yeah, Osterine this, Osterine that. But, so you're saying that the fact that 3 players who didn't play in the playoffs tested positive, so that means the whole team cheated, right? Because 3 players out of, 85 guys cheated, according to you. So that means the whole team is a cheater? It's a dirty program now? And they go, well, yeah, only 3 got caught. Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? If only 3 of them got caught, but you listen, that means you already know that there's probably at least 40 other guys doing it, right? A bunch of other guys were doing it. If 3 of them were doing it, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I go, okay. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. So let's just go off that logic then. That, just if there's 3 of them doing it, then there's probably definitely a lot more of them doing it, right? All right. So let's talk about Justin Fields, though. Let's talk about Justin Fields and his waiver that he got granted by the NCAA to play at Ohio State next year for his transfer, even though he's not a graduate. What was that hardship waiver again? What was that for? Oh, racism. Right, racism. Oh, but Pete, that was just one guy. Pete, that was just one baseball player who was a racist and was calling Justin Fields the N-word. You can't say the whole baseball team's doing that. You can't say the whole athletic department's like that just because one guy did it. But hey, I thought, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Right? Is this a systemic problem with racism at the University of Georgia that we all need to know about? I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. Seems a little dirty to me. Can we talk about the last time that Georgia had a starting black quarterback? Have they had one since the civil rights movement? That seems a little suspicious to me. Seems like a systemic racism problem you got going on over at Georgia over there. Only makes sense to me. Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Listen, start blaming your problems on your coaches and your inability to beat the Crimson Tide. That's your problem, not Clemson's.